Hello and welcome to the Musical Instrument Investigator. Today we're on the website of Piguet Auctioneers based in Geneva in Switzerland. We're going to have a look at their latest auction, which seems to be musical instruments. At least that is one part of a larger selection of sales they're having in March. This auction seems to be split into two sections, like a main and an online section. Not quite sure how that works, but the first main section has 16 lots, and then this second section, which is kind of musical instruments and documents, seems to have 45. I think if you go into the auction a bit further, you can see that in this second section there are some other books and kind of photographs and things of musicians, but in terms of musical instruments, this is definitely the main bit. I'll put a link in the description as always, and you can try and work out for yourself what's going on. I'm not 100% sure. This is a new auction house to me, actually, so it'll be interesting to see what they have. Looks pretty curious. Looks like the buyer's premium is 25%, so bear that in mind. That's what you would pay on top of the final hammer price. Both of these auctions, or parts of this auction, are finishing on the 13th of March. It's the 4th today, so you've got a good while to go. I'll put a link in the description. So yeah, just to say once again, this is a Swiss-based auction house, so if you are outside of Switzerland or outside of Europe, bear that in mind. Import, export fees, shipping, CITES restrictions, all of that normal fun stuff. Before we get going, just like to say, if you do enjoy these videos, please consider subscribing, like or comment, turn on notifications, all of that stuff, because it really does help a lot and it would be much appreciated. So let's crack on. So we're in Swiss francs here, so 60 to 80,000 Swiss francs on this one. Exchange rates are obviously a little bit variable, but roughly you could say it's 1 Swiss franc to a euro. Not 100% true, but for the purpose of this, you can just imagine these numbers in euros and it's something around that. So yeah, we have this really first lot, 60 to 80,000 Swiss francs. We've got a Violin, so made circa 1841 in Paris. Jean-Baptiste Violin. This is a Del Gesù model here, and it has a Pierre Vidudez certificate from Geneva. I really like the Del Gesù models, actually, of the Violin workshop of Jean-Baptiste Violin. I think they really are the nicest ones in my personal opinion. It says it's in an excellent state of conservation. Small crack on the table on the right of the tailpiece. Okay, so somewhere there probably. Some traces of woodworm. Photographs of the table and the background allow you to observe the difference in the colouring of the varnish. Okay, fair enough. Let's have a look at these pictures. Nice back on that. Nice scroll. Yeah, interesting gouge marks on that. Let's see what else we got here. Some side views. I really do like these kind of Violins. I think they are really nice. The Del Gesù models. Absolutely not able to speak properly today. There's a Pierre Vidudez certificate there. So lots of documentation here. So that's a good start to the auction. I think that's actually really quite a reasonable estimate as well. So I think we can zoom in a bit as well on these images. But yeah, I think that's a really fair estimate of what I would regard as a really, really nice Violin model personally. But anyway, let's carry on. So we have a very beautiful French violin made by Auguste Sebastian Philippe Bernardel, known as Bernardel Père, Paris 1852, 361 length the back there. Actually, that's interesting. Did it say what the Violin was? Oh yeah, 358, so I missed that. Original label, signature on the top table, and second signature in ink in the bottom above the core, accompanied by a certificate from Pierre Vidudez, again, but this time 1976, in a carrying case. See, there's not other information there. Pretty good pictures. Really nice back there. I think Bernardel is really good maker, really consistent, quite popular as well. So I think it's a good one to have. Have all the certificate information here as well. The guarantee. Yeah, nice instrument. It's kind of a bit weird being on a new website that I've not been on before. It's a little bit kind of off-putting. I'm not used to the things in the right places, so I'm bear with me, apologies while I get to grips with it. Beautiful French violin with label of Nicolas Lupeau, first half of the 19th century, 358mm length of back, which is quite friendly for a French violin. Good general condition, small restoration to the table, retouched varnish, ready to play. Actually, what did it say here? Excellent general condition, that's right. Yeah, like I said, I'm getting used to where all the things are in this auction house. It's very different to what I'm used to. But yeah, nice scroll on that. Looks like an interesting looking violin there. Picture quality seems pretty good. Not so many pictures on this one. Number 4, an Italian violin from the 18th century from the Florence school bearing the label of Carcassi Brothers. 353mm length of back there. Accompanied by a certificate from Etienne Vatelot from September 1976 and from Charles Enel from 1953. Okay. Dendrochronology was carried out at Peter Ratcliffe, England, which confirms a dating of the wood of 1746. Interesting. Okay, let's have a look. Good general condition, several traces of worms restored in the bottom. Really nice back on that. It's pretty cool. Yeah, pretty awesome scroll as well. That's a really interesting scroll, actually. Yeah, it's pretty mad looking scroll. People should make more scrolls like this, I think. I think that is very characterful scroll for sure. There's that Carcassi label, and then we've got the documents for Vatelot. Charts Enel there. Looks like a old condition report as well. That's quite interesting. Yeah, a lot of documents with this this one. It's interesting. So 30 to 50,000 Swiss francs is the estimate there. Right, an important violin of the Italian school made by Antonius and Hieronymus Amati, Cremona, 1584, with original label, 100 to 150,000 Swiss francs there. Small model, 34.3, certificate from W.E. Hill and Sons, Henry Wero, Burned, Charles Beer, confirms the authenticity of the violin mentioned in both certificates and the original label, with the exception of the top, which was later replaced in the 1650s by Niccolo Amati. Okay, interesting. Dendrochronology confirms the provenance of the wood of the table, which comes from the same tree as that of an early Stradivarius. Okay, well, that's kind of interesting. So, good general condition, some restored, some restorations to the table. Okay. Wow, beautiful back there. Look at that. Wow, that's a stunning, really stunning piece of wood there. So I think that's going to be a good thumbnail. Let's have a look at the scroll. Yeah, really nice scroll there. So far this is a pretty good auction. There's definitely some interesting bits here. It's like one at an angle here. Let's see what else we got. It's the label shop. More certificates here. The Hill certificate, it's all quite curious. Yeah, a lot of documents here. Yeah, nice looking violin. Right, very beautiful violin from the German school, Bohemia, southern Germany, bearing a label of Johannes Uldaricus Ebeler. Second half of the 18th century, 350. That's quite small as well, 12 to 18,000 Swiss francs there. Good condition, some restorations, notably a small break in the core, which I presume is meaning the sound post, crack in the rib. So let's have a look. Yeah, quite cool scroll as well. Let's see if we've got any other information there. Okay. Right, on to bows here. Very beautiful violin bow by Eugene Sartre, circa 1920, 58 grams, 12 to 18,000 on that. A few more pictures here, but I don't think we need to get into that so much. Good general condition. A superb and rare violin bow by Eugene Sartre, 18 to 22,000 Swiss francs there, circa 1925. Okay, perfect original condition apparently. Lots more pictures if you are bow people to have a look at. Right, very beautiful violin bow by Alfred Lamy, known as Lamy Pear, 1905-1910, 7 to 9,000 Swiss francs. Okay. Violin bow by Francois Lupeau, circa 1820, 10 to 15,000. Let's have a look at a blown up version of that. Nice, really nice maker. Violin bow by Jules Fetique, early 20th century, 5 to 7,000 Swiss francs there. I'm going to stop saying they're very beautiful thing because they basically say that for everything. Oh, it's superb. It's different. Superb violin bow, circa 1855-1860. Sold and signed by the luthiers Gand Frères in Paris. Original in all its parts from the Piguet school. Small chip on the side of the raise. Small chip in the front of the mortise. Okay. Look at that head. That's quite a strong head there. Let's see what else we got here. An important cello from the French school made by Joseph Hell of Lille. Original label. Okay, with its carrying case, there is no study bow. Okay, 30 to 50,000 Swiss francs there. Core break at the top, well restored with a piece of core. Okay, small cracks. Some bow mounted ebony silver. Okay, getting bit confused by what the translator is saying here, so take it all with a bit of a pinch of salt. Very strong scroll there. And back to the beginning. So a few more left of this main auction, I think. French cello circa 1740 in the style of Louis Gersat. Okay. Letter from Etienne Vatelot with that, 15 to 20,000 Swiss francs on that. Fairly good general condition. Quite like these kind of early French stuff. It's pretty good. No fancy flower decorations or shell decorations on this one, as you sometimes see. But I guess it depends what area of France. Okay, yeah, quite cool auction so far. Italian cello from the 18th century, 754mm, bearing a partially torn label from Testore in Milan, restored by Luc Breton in 2001, whose label it bears. Okay, it's got a certificate from 1982, which is attributing it to Paolo Antonio Testore. Numerous restorations, 20 to 30,000 Swiss francs there. Definitely a curious looking one. Bits of label. Let's see what else we got here. This must be the bits of certificate here. Let's see what else we got here. A few more documents. Okay, so I think we've got one more from this main batch. Cello bow by Francois Nicolas Vorin there. 4 to 6,000 on that. Perfect state of preservation apparently. Okay, so what happens if we do this? Right, yeah, we do get on to the next set of musical instruments, and that's quite interesting. It's quite efficient, their website here. It's a Bosendorfer grand piano here. 2 to 3,000 is the estimate. So from the Peter Ustinov collection there, good general condition, etc, etc. Let's kind of see what other bits we have. Don't need to get too crazy. So I think this second section is kind of slightly lower tier stuff. Steinway and Sons upright here from 1953. Fairly good general condition. They've given up a bit on the pictures on these. Right. yeah, interesting. So a harp here, 800 to 1200. Let's see. So Erat and Sons, J. Erat. I've made this mistake before when I was thinking that it was saying Erard, but these ones it's Erat. It's a nice kind of harp here, 800 to 1200. That's kind of criminal, really, isn't it? It looks like it needs a fair amount of work. A very beautiful instrument, early 19th century apparently. Yeah, very interesting. Let's see what we've got on the next one. Harp by Alexander Barry, London, 19th century again. Egyptian antiquity there. 1000 to 1500 on that. Some really beautiful decoration on this. Very nice indeed. Right, okay, I think we have another harp actually. Harp signed Naderman, Marie Antoinette's luthier. Okay, interesting. Ironmark Naderman in Paris, 1765, 700 to 900 Swiss francs there. So yes, this is an absolutely beautiful instrument. Look at that carving. That is amazing. That's pretty crazy that the estimate is 700 to 900 for absolutely beautiful looking instrument like this. That's almost kind of a bit criminal, isn't it? I don't really understand the values of musical instruments sometimes, despite watching all these auctions. Average general condition. Okay, let's carry on then. Right, we've got a hurdy-gurdy, a violin here. 3 to 500 there, average condition. Do we have many pictures? There's quite a few. These pictures are really good actually, I have to say. Quite impressive. It's a really cool looking instrument there. Right. Very interesting. I think this is probably saying pochette or something. Probably from the English School of Panormo, 19th century, 465. Okay. 2 to 300. That's also pretty reasonable. Nice looking instrument there. So this part of the sale far more budget friendly, I think. Right, okay. Here is a pochette, probably French 19th century. Needs some work. Okay, it's kind of interesting head on it, slightly unusual, a little bit primitive looking, to be honest. It's a pretty cool head though. Yeah, so interesting auction so far, but really great, really nice clear pictures here, which is good. Children's violin from Germany, 19th century, 3/4. 2 to 300 on that. Let's have a look. Yeah, it's actually quite a nice one, to be honest. I can't argue with that. It's not too bad. Okay, let's carry on. French child's violin, Mirecourt. I think we see this kind of stuff all the time, so we don't really need to get into it too much. 3 to 500 Swiss francs there. French child's violin again, so this is all pretty standard. Oh, they're quite a nice back, really. And moving on. Saxon violin, Votland from the 19th century, CF glass under the heel, 353. Looks kind of okay. 2 to 3,000. That seems maybe a little bit optimistic on that. Good German violin bearing an Olibull iron mark. So I think this is your probably not very exciting trade instrument, to be honest. Maybe it's a little bit better than that, 5 to 800. Interesting 19th century violin, Europe. Okay. Interesting F holes on that. Quite a nice back. Curious scroll. Not a whole load of pictures. Broken sole at the table, so sound post crack there. Beautiful violin from the German school, mid-19th century, 2.5 to 3.5 there, attributed to Andreas Engleder. Okay. Yeah, lovely varnish on that. Very nice and tidy scroll. Good general condition. Some kind of copy of that certificate there as well. Right. German violin, first half of the 20th century, 3 to 500. The Storioni label, that is pretty much your standard fare there. Beautiful French violin from the 18th century in the style of Castagneri. Okay, with a Petrus Guarnerius label, 5 to 7,000 on that. Table by another author around 1850. I just seems fairly really nice back actually there, but quite a high estimate if it's a composite with a different table. Okay, French violin, 1800, 353, 6 to 800 on that. Really nice wood there in the back. And what we got next? French violin from Mirecourt School, late 19th to early 20th century. Didier Nicolas Ain model. 223 on that. Yeah, it definitely has those very vertical kind of F holes on that. Okay. French violin from the 19th century, Maggini model, 358. That's actually quite a good, reasonable size for one of these French Maggini models. They usually end up being pretty big. And Mirecourt violin again. Don't think we need to get too into that. It's pretty standard, 6 to 800 Swiss francs there. Another Mirecourt violin, 355. Actually quite a nice back on that, 2.5 to 3.5 there. It's a better quality instrument. Mugino School there. French violin, Mirecourt. Another Maggini model there, 367. That's the one I was talking about. The absolutely huge ones, so 700 to 900 on that, with the extra kind of turn on the scroll as well. Right, we're on to bows here. Violin bow by Hippolyte Camille Lamy, 1920. Oh, 3/4 size. Interesting. 3 to 5 on that. Violin bow by Emile Auguste Houchard. Also another 3/4 bow there. Violin bow by Claude Thomasin, circa 1910. Okay, with light leather trim. Really nice head on that actually. Nice kind of sweep. Okay, let's see. Violin bow from W.E. Hill and Sons Workshop. Wow, I'm really struggling to speak today. Tortoiseshell frog, 2.5 to 3,500 on that, which seems probably about right, I think. And there's here. Don't forget to look at your condition report. Violin bow by Louis Morizot Frère, 5 to 800. Violin bow by Louis Piano, 1,000 to 1,500 on that. Quite like that. Violin bow by Emile François Houchard, 800 to 1,200. Violin bow by Charles Nicholas and Louis Bazar. And rare violin bow from the collection of Emile Francais by Albert Nurnberger. Okay, 2,000 to 3,000 euros on that. Sold with Bernard Millant's certificate of authenticity. Okay, that's pretty cool. I mean, these Nurnberger bows are pretty good and also very good value, to be honest. Violin bow marked Leopold. This is like one of these kind of carbon bows or something, so it's taking the quality down a bit there. Violin bow from the German school, 300 to 500. Violin bow German work, 50 to 100 there. Yeah, real mixture of stuff in this auction. Another German bow there, nothing too crazy. Set of 2 German bows, so I don't think there's anything too crazy to look at there. Viola from the German school, the 20th century, 600 to 800. And viola bow by Louis Morzon Frère. German cello, early 20th century, 3,000 to 5,000. Don't think we're seeing anything too crazy these days. Standard children's cello made by Goa. German children's cello, we can go past that. Cello bow from the German school, nickel mounted, 50 to 100 on that. Beautiful cello bow from the German school from the end of the 19th century, 1200 to 1800 on that. And a case, beautiful violin case in Havana Alligator, circa 1930-1940, 80 to 120. It'd be interesting to know if people actually buy these. Just seems a bit of an odd one. Anyway, so it looks like that is it. That is the auction. So you had this first musical instrument section of the high profile stuff. Some pretty cool things in there that I did a really terrible job at looking at because I'm not really 100% awake today. And then this second section here, which is has some interesting stuff, but not really anywhere near the quality of the first section of stuff. Although I do like these harps. I think some really beautiful harps for sure. So yeah, an interesting auction. Check out the link in the description, see what you think. Really like this Amati violin, or Brothers Amati violin. Really interesting as well that it has a replaced top by Niccolo Amati, so I think that is really quite a curious one, and the back on that is absolutely beautiful, to be honest. So I think that is a great instrument. So yeah, that's it basically. So thanks a lot for watching, really appreciate it. Feel free to comment, and I will catch you next time. Bye.